Hey everyone, Tottenville Legend 826 here. I wanted to talk about the latest episode of Riverdale, Chapter 73, The Locked Room, I think it was called. Yeah, so anyway, we all know that Jughead wasn't really dead, because obviously come on, he's the main character. They're not going to kill him off, at least we don't think he will. So anyways, Jughead was alive, as we found out in the last episode. He faked his death. And then in this episode, Jughead is like hiding out in the bunker for a little bit to make everyone think he's dead. But of course, no one in Riverdale is really dead. Because come on, this happens all the time. I guess characters in Riverdale just love faking their deaths. But anyways, Jughead and Betty decide to confront the Stonewall people. Because Jughead like to come out there and like to expose them, I guess. So Jughead and Betty go to Stonewall High, and everyone's in complete shock. Brett is like completely dumbfounded. Mr. DuPont is like thunderstruck. He can't even believe that Jughead is alive because they all thought he was dead. And I love how Jughead quoted Mark Twain by saying that the rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated. And then Betty decides to take all their cell phones and lock them all up in the room so that Jughead and Betty can go by step what happened that night and how Jughead faked his death and everything. So anyways, all the cell phones are taken. Brett and Donna and Joan are forced to watch all this. Jonathan isn't there because he might be dead or something like that. I mean, that's what they say, food poisoning, but he might be alive. You never know. I mean, there's no body, there's no proof yet, so... Anyway, Betty and Jughead begin explaining what happened that night. How Jughead was like, how Jughead and Brett came out into the open. How they were about to fight each other. How Donna used the powder against Betty, to make her unconscious, and how Joan, hit Jughead with the rock, apparently. Because Joan was wearing the perfume and everything, so that's how Jughead was able to figure out that it was her. And then, then they continue explaining what happened, that night. They continue providing the details of the events that occurred. Mr. DuPont, of course, is not amused by this. He said that Jughead is like his grandfather, an arrogant fool, being the moron that he is, Mr. DuPont. Anyways, Jughead continues explaining what happened. I'm glad that Jughead finally told Mr. DuPont to shut up because, come on, the guy was literally antagonizing him. Anyways, Jughead, and Betty, they both, I think they were, writing on the board or something, explaining what happened, to make the perfect murder thing. Yeah, because the thing is that Mr. Chipping, they claimed he had an affair, which he didn't, of course. He did not have an affair. Apparently, he, invited Moose Mason to come to Stonewall Prep, because they were going to kill him, to make the perfect murder thing. And then Mr. Chipping felt so much guilt that he committed suicide. That's what really happened. And Jughead was only there because he was supposed to be bait to lure his grandfather out of hiding. Apparently, Forsythe Sr, Forsythe the First, Mr. DuPont, and 3 other people were all in this group together. They were all part of this group that was writing these stories and everything. And DuPont decided to kill all of them off until only Jughead's grandfather was left. And then FP Sr, Forsythe Sr went into hiding. And, DuPont wanted to lure him back into the public. And he got his wish, I guess, because then afterwards FP, Forsythe the First, and Charles all came into the room and they were going to arrest DuPont, for his crimes and everything, for all the hell the Stonewall people put these innocents through. All the tapes of all the disgusting acts and everything that they were doing, all the illegal stuff. And then Mr. DuPont decides to commit suicide because obviously he's cornered now. He can't deny what all the wrong that's been taking place. His alleged involvement. So he threw himself out the window. And then afterwards, the remaining students are all confronted with the FBI and everything. Charles interrogating them, and I just love how Brett decides to cheekily respond, making some kind of a deal to save his own skin. And then FP and Jughead come in and they both beat him up. So that was hilarious to watch. I mean, honestly, I can't say I feel much sympathy for Brett, but I'm sure we haven't seen the last of Brett and Donna. They always come back in Riverdale. So anyways, yeah, so Jughead comes back to Riverdale High to transfer back to Riverdale because of, all this shit that happened at Stonewall, and everything. You know, although Jughead and Archie are having difficulty graduating at the moment, they might be able to graduate. Betty and Veronica will make sure of that, apparently, from the ending. And FP and Forsythe Sr. both seem to be reconciling. Granted, there's still a lot of history between them, but things seem to be working out at the moment. And then at the end of the episode, Kevin, shows up, to announce the tryouts for the school play and everything. And Jughead might be singing. But also, one interesting thing to note that I forgot to mention. Donna's grandmother apparently was one of the victims that DuPont killed. And Donna, I think, came into the school to get revenge against DuPont. Now that DuPont is dead, she finally got her wish with that Baxter Brothers novels, I think she got. So, yeah, Donna, of course, we haven't seen the last of her. I don't know how the writers are gonna use her in the future, but we'll just have to see, I guess. So the musical episode is coming up in the next episode. I don't know what role Jughead will play, but I want to see how that'll turn out. But anyways, yeah, that's my perspective on the 16th episode of the 4th season of Riverdale, chapter 73, The Locked Room. And yep, that's my perspective on it. Tonville Legend 826 out.